So now AI's sort of come about. We've been following it since 2016. We sort of realised that it was coming, and it was coming quite quickly. And then all of a sudden it arrived in November last year with ChatGPT. So that gave us all a bit of a wake-up call in terms of how quickly and how good this thing is. So today's session is really going to be about you, the teachers. We've sort of shifted slightly on the plan, and we decided that the best way for you to, it's because it's so broad, such a broad topic, and it's happening so quickly, it's really hard to stay on top of. So we thought we would provide you, or get you guys using the tool for yourselves to understand it. So today's really going to be all about you and what you can do with these tools. It's not going to be so much about student learning. It's just really providing the tools. So we'll do, it's just a brief overview of AI in education, how you can develop lesson plans, student assessment we'll touch on briefly. What we're hoping to do is create a series of these workshops for you and provide resources. We've been working in the background, so we've got what we call a prompt library. I've got Kaswa here and Arby, that the three of us have been sort of developing a library for you so that you can use it. So we'll demonstrate that afterwards. Also, if if you've got any questions throughout this workshop, then please feel free to drop a comment in the chat, and we'll see if we can answer it for you. But again, this is the first of an ongoing series, we're hoping. I was going to explain, I'll touch a little bit on visual content, and how you and the children can get creative with it. So these are the tools, the teacher tools that are sort of readily available for you, and it's something that we've been using. So you've got a lesson planner. So you can create a lesson plan, under 5 minutes. If you know how to prompt the AI properly, you can generate a quiz based on that lesson plan. You can create rubrics. What AI is really good for is student differentiation and evaluation, is what we've found. We are a bit of a magnet for spectrum children, and so this has been a bit of a godsend for us, because we can differentiate and get to the student where their learning is pretty quickly. So you've got report writing, you've got a group project planner, there's story generators, AI image generation, you can generate activities or ideas for activities. There's topic planning, you can use it for parent emails, which is great for us. If they're asking anything in particular, we're able to generate a scaffold pretty quickly and then customize it from there. You obviously got your own teaching assistant, and I'll go into that a little bit further. So the Speedy Lesson Planner, we've been using it. I actually use it for my daughter. One of the first times I used ChatGPT when it first came out was my daughter was, she's 14 years old. She was learning Economics 101. She was being tested on 10 points. The next day, she came home depressed and panicking. I don't know anything about it. And I said, right, let's load up ChatGPT and let's learn how to prompt it properly, and see what we can get from it. So what we did, we basically said, I want you to be a world-class economics, my world-class economics tutor. And I'm being tested tomorrow on these 10 points. I would like you to test my knowledge now, and I would like you to test my knowledge afterwards. And I want you to have a discussion with me about these 10 points. So that became like almost a Socratic conversation with the AI and me and my daughter. And so we were able to discuss. So there was the three of us, and that's, I think, how you need to treat the AI. Is you've got someone in the room, and that someone, the way I sort of see it, is its knowledge at the moment is the equivalent to a university graduate. So they've been through 3 years or 4 years of theory, but what they don't have is the experience, the practical and experience and the wisdom. So you can see the AI as being your assistant, someone who's just graduated university. So again, so going back to Libby, my daughter, it was just a conversation that we were having between the three of us, and so her knowledge at the end of it, she went into to cut a long story short, she went into the test the next day, and felt pretty confident and nailed it. That's just one example. I've been working a lot with Libby, with my two daughters. So that's an example anyway of that. We've got, so Speedy Lesson Planner, we'll demonstrate it very shortly. The quiz and the rubric creation is pretty awesome. Gets really, really detailed. We can align it with the curriculum, no matter whether you're a public school or private school. And we'll show you how to do that shortly. I just want to sort of touch on what AI is in education and what it's not. So these are some of the things that that I'm sure you guys are discussing anyway. I'm just going to move this screen. So starting off, what it is, it's personalized learning. To me, it is, if I'm a student, it's able to break down complex problems and sort of meet me at where my learning is, whether I'm sort of 10 years old, 8 years old, or 25 or whatever it is. So I'm able to ask the AI to break, to decompose, basically break down the problem and give me 3 different examples. And to me, that's a hard ask especially when it's ad hoc. If I'm not prepared to talk about a concept, and that concept might be decomposition, which is it's part of computational thinking. So that's something that, when you're talking about an abstract concept, to have 3 examples just sitting there is a hard thing to do, especially on ad hoc. So you're able to ask the AI to give 3 different examples. The other thing it's able to do is sort of give it context. That age-old question when you're at school is, when am I ever going to use a quadratic equation or something like that? It's able to quickly answer that, and it's able to give you 3 or 4 examples. I've noticed with my daughter, she'll look at the screen and she'll have the blank stare, but we're still able to drill down, still able to decompose. She's 14 years old, and I'm telling her to, keep asking her questions. Just say that you're 5 years old. Explain it to me as if I'm 5. I'm 14, I know, but explain it to me as if I'm 5. And it does a great job of doing that. Differentiation in seconds, it's just absolutely unbelievable. We're able to, if you've got someone with dyslexia, any sort of learning deafness, any sort of differentiation there, you're able to just quickly go to the AI and rip out a lesson plan within 3 to 5 minutes for it. Again, I'll go through that Caswell will demonstrate that. Handwriting conversation to digital, this sort of touches on evaluation. So you're able to, so if you're marking and you've got 24 pieces of paper with an equation on it, or some writing, an assignment that you've got, you're able to take a PDF, upload it into one of these chat bots, and it's able to read and decompose and turn it into text. And that's where it becomes more meaningful for you as a teacher in terms of what you can do with it. This technology is obviously going to get more sophisticated as we move along. We're actually working on a platform which enables you to take the learning, or take any piece of paper, which might be a quiz or anything like that, a formula, for example, read it, group it into however many groups. We've got the right answer, right but wrong answer, and wrong answer. So you're able to group it and then sort of match it with a rubric and enter, and whatever the points are for that rubric. So it is getting smarter, and I'll touch on that a little bit. So this AI at the moment, what you're experiencing, if you have, is probably the dumbest you're going to see it, because it's constantly learning and it's constantly getting smarter. Just in the 12 months that I've seen it, so we've gone from GPT 3.5 to 4. GPT-4 is a premium model. I pay $40 a month, I think it is, and it's certainly eased a lot of my burden. Language translation is great. What AI isn't is replacing teachers. In my opinion, more so now, is that there is probably more of a need for human interaction with this stuff coming through. We've got a responsibility really to make sure that our students are learning it properly. They're not misusing it. It's not going to solve every problem. It's not perfect, and that's what I kind of like about it. I'd be really worried if it was perfect. And again, it's with it not being perfect, it's sort of exercising our critical thinking skills, and that's super important with our students, to teach our students that, especially with deep fakes. What is going to happen now is that we're going to have a whole lot of information. We're going to be flooded with it, with marketers, etc. So they've got to be able to discern what is fake and what is not, what's true, what's not. So that's what I like about it not being perfect. It's not something that you need to learn. It's not an extra thing that's going to be put on you as a teacher. When I say that, again, this whole sort of online, this workshop is for you guys to get stuck in, get your hands dirty, and make it work for you, to cut your time down, and in doing that, you're learning AI. So it's not something extra. It's definitely working for you. Another subject, it must be. It's not another computer science subject. But in saying that, I think it sort of emphasizes the importance of computer science, and computational thinking and problem solving, and knowing that there's the risks and the benefits. There's a bit of a dichotomy at the moment in schools. Do we ban it or do we work with it? So I'm not really going to touch on that right now. That's an online workshop in itself. The risks of job loss in education, that's going to be up for discussion. Again, personally, I think there's going to be more teachers coming in with other job losses. But certainly I think it just emphasizes, AI emphasizes the need for human, what they call human in the loop. The loss of creativity, again, it's up for discussion. It's made me a hell of a lot more creative. What you'll find when you start using these tools is that, yes, there's a lot of things that you can think of ahead of time. You'll find that this will come up a lot. Oh, I didn't think of that. So from a creativity point of view, I'm not sure whether I think that's right. In terms of students, I think we have to teach them how to use it creatively. lack of personalized interaction. Again, I think that's what they're talking about there is probably will students, we're using TikTok and all those sorts of things. The students are using their devices to communicate. Will the students be using the AI more than teachers? And again, it's sort of up for discussion on that one. Learning without understanding. We had a case last week where one of our students who's 10 years old, codes in Python, was using GPT or an AI chatbot to get him to do all of the coding. And I just hit him on the spot and said, what is, are you learning anything? What is the point in using that AI? And that just opened up a discussion. And what we discovered was that yes, he was learning. He was getting the AI to do most of his Python programming. But as it was doing it, he was reading it and sort of picking up a lot of things that he didn't do. So that's that's a case there. So it really does depend on how students use it. Yes. So that's where, again, so the emphasis is on us being adults and having a responsibility to teach them in the right way. So it's important for us to get on top of this thing before they do, because they are on it. They're using it. Privacy and confidentiality, again, it's one of those things. It's just common sense. We've got to be really careful about what we give to the internet. So it's not much of a shift from what we already know. The benefits, reducing teacher workload and shortage. Obviously, the shortage, if we can reduce our workload, we've got a better quality of life. And so we're not thinking about getting out of the trade. So hopefully that shortage will sort of reduce or be mitigated. There's less burdens equals more creativity. I believe that too, because if I'm doing less admin, I'm able to spend more time in the class, which is what I love. It's my favorite part. Again, sort of leading into more human relationships. 24/7 access to a personal tutor. Super important. I had a case. My sister's she's an ECE teacher. She was telling me about her my nephew Ollie, who loves surfing, hates maths, and he comes home at night. My brother-in-law is a builder. He's good at math, but he's exhausted. So where this becomes really handy and super useful is one for a parent to be able to sit down beside their child and work through the problem with the tutor, the AI tutor. So the burden's not on the parents, because I was really nervous when my daughter was getting into high school, thinking, how am I going to help her with the homework assignments she's got? So this, I think, is really super helpful, because it's been 30-something years since I've been at school. So, having an AI and a personal tutor and knowing how to use it properly and get the best out of it is going to be really, really helpful for parents. And that partnership, I think, is going to be emphasised, that, the partnership that teachers and parents have got, that we all want, is going to be emphasised. I think it's going to be a good thing. Learning at the highest levels, it's for me, it's being able to accelerate me, scaffold me, and I'm certainly learning a hell of a lot more than I have been. Anyway, next slide. Back to differentiation. This is super awesome. Again, I'm going to use my daughter as a reference. She loves cricket, and I've used it before with Ollie, who loves surfing. She loves cricket, hates maths, and so she was learning statistics and probability, and so again we were loaded up ChatGPT, and the first question we asked is what is statistics and probability, got to do with cricket. And then it was able to tell us, set the scene. And then we were able to sort of make sense of the questions that came back from the AI to Libby was, can you give me your batting average, your strike rate, and some of these other statistics? Immediately she knew what those were. And I'll tell you how to relate those to become a better cricketer. And so we talked about the mean median mode, using that and being able to sort of use probability in terms of what is the probability of you going in based on the last two innings of scoring 20 to 30 runs. She was able to relate that to her game. So that's just an example. Again, you can use trigonometry or a quadratic equation if you like, and it was, which we did, and it talked about let's use X being the speed of the ball when you bowl it, and Y being when you release it. As that will determine, whether you can bowl a Yorker or not. So again, the smile on her face was fantastic. She was able to relate something that she loved and in a language that she knew into something that she didn't really sort of have, a purpose for learning was the main thing. And again, the age-old question, when am I ever going to use that? Well, use it today in cricket, this Saturday. So it's super, super handy, really handy. That's just one example. We can get really creative. What AI is doing now is it's creating, it's able to create images. This presentation these images were created by AI. So it's getting really, really good. Even within a year, I've seen the quality improve. A visual interpreter, you're able to upload an image now into AI, and that might be the periodic table. And a student, might say, well, can you let me know what element, or expand on the element, this element, and tell me what it means, etc. So there's all sorts of things that you can do with it. Assistant tutors. Again, I think this is super, super cool. Knowing the right prompts, how to prompt it, enables you to be able to, you've got 24 to 30 students in your class, and you're typically working with 1 to 4 or whatever group it is, and the rest are left up to their own devices to be autonomous. This is where this comes in. It's super handy. So you can actually train train a tutor based on your knowledge that you've been teaching over the last 10 years, to make it, a wee bit of a clone for you to help the students. So they're able to get access to your knowledge 24/7. So again, I'm not going to be talking about student learning in this one, but that'll be a future workshop that will provide resources for, and just let you know how you can do that. It's really cool. You can do anything with it. For example, if you're a history teacher, and you can sort of talk about Winston Churchill, and you can get the student to have a conversation with Winston Churchill, and ask him about his Iron Curtain speech or something like that. So you've got to get really, really creative, and it's just amazing what this thing can do. Other tools, we've got, you can create a story generator. My sister, again, she's an ECE teacher, and she wanted to create a book, which she did do for Christmas for one of her children, created a story, created images. There's all sorts of things that will help you do. And again, it's sort of going back to, you've got to see this thing as your own assistant teacher who's just graduated from university, and it's you and him or her just conversing, brainstorming, coming up with ideas. topic planning, policy writing, again, sort of parent emails. There's just so much that you can do with this stuff. But we're going to start with, again, sort of making it work for you. This is just an example of you know, a surfing, which was whipped up in 5 minutes. You've got to know what the prompts are, which I'll explain shortly. Creates a quiz, a worksheet, lesson plan, images, everything. It's fantastic. Tennis and trigonometry related to passions, golf and Python. It will print code for you if you're a digital technology teacher. Great for problem solving, etc., debugging, all that sort of stuff. Prompt engineering. So where to start with this stuff? How to get the most out of the AI really depends on what you put in. So you've got to be really, really specific. So it is a bit of a craft. So it's good that you're starting now. There are two ways that you can prompt. You can either have a lot of information and specific information up front. There's sort of three things that you have to do. You have to make sure that you give it a persona, you give it context, and you give it tasks. But again, this is sort of what we're going to teach you shortly. But again, so that's you can have big upfront, or you can have a Socratic method of conversing with it and getting what you want. So again, with my sister, she was putting in brief, print lesson for 8-year-old or whatever it is. You've really got to be more specific than that, and you've got to treat it like you're having a conversation with a person. So you wouldn't just say, print a plan. You need more specific. So I'm going to play this video for you to hopefully send the message home, and hopefully for you to remember every time you do a prompt, you've got to be more specific.
Ready for the next one? Shoot. Answer as quickly as you can. How old is a person born in 1928? Man or woman? Why? Specifics, Bob. Okay, one more time. How old is a man born in 1928? Still alive? If a man is born in 1928 and he's still alive, how old is he? What month? If a man was born October 3rd, 1928, and he's still alive, how old is he? What time? 10 o'clock p.m. Where? Anywhere. Well, let's get specific, Bob. I mean, if the guy's still alive, born in California, October 3rd, 1928, 10 p.m., he's 67 years, 9 months, 22 days, 14 hours, and 12 minutes. If he's born in New York, he's 3 hours older now, isn't he?
I love that piece from the movie Phenomenon. Great movie. Guy gets a brain tumor, and instead of shrinking his brain, it expands it. So yeah, hopefully you'll remember that.
Be more specific.
Okay, so I'm going to hand it over to Kaswar now, and he'll do just a few demonstrations. Again, show you through the prompt library. Again, if you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to put something in the chat and let us know how we can help you. Kaswar, I'll hand it over to you.
Hi, how is everyone? My name is Kaswar, third year software computer science student, and I will just be showing you guys simple prompts to be putting into GPT to be getting quality outputs. All right. So I'm going to start off with the NZ curriculum refresh lesson plan because we've talked to a couple teachers and this seems to be a good source to use, or everyone uses their own, but this is the one I'm going to be following. The age. You put in the age of your students. The desired duration of time would be how long the lesson plan you are trying to get. So this could be 45 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, an entire day, a term. Just depends on what you want, really. Know, understand, and do is part of the New Zealand refresh curriculum. So these I look at as learning outcomes, and that is what I tell the AI bot to look at them as well. Because if the AI bot looks at these like learning outcomes, then it would produce something tailored and structured around this. So I am going to copy this one. Was it? Yeah. Sorry, just making sure. I'll add no here because I've taken it from the no section in phase 2. And I will paste the bullet point I've taken from the PDF right here. This should produce something of a sort. There you go. Okay. So it doesn't really end here. This is actually the start of it. I have many, many, many options I could do. This is where really you guys get involved, and this is where you tailor it for your liking. So I could look at this and say, for example, the assessment assesses students based on their group presentations, okay, wait. Let's see, I'm trying to look for something I don't like in this lesson plan. Let's say I don't like activity 1 for demonstration purposes. Can you please change activity 1 to something more specific? I'll give that a go. And it changes activity 1 for you. And it gives you bullet points. It's very easy to follow. Okay. This is the lesson plan. I will now differentiate the lesson plan because that is something I'm having to do a lot with being an instructor at Code Camp. A lot of our lesson plans that we work with need to be differentiated for different students' needs and all that. Let's see. Okay. As a follow-up prompt, ask GPT differentiate lesson plan for unique learning needs. All right. So I work with a lot of students who have autism. So I will say, can you please differentiate this lesson plan to the needs of a child with autism? Obviously.
Gotta think now.
Oh, panicking there, I'm not gonna lie. But if you look at the lesson plan now, it should. So if you realize the difference between this lesson plan and this the one it's produced right before, is the lesson plan after being told to differentiate to the needs of a child with autism brings up visual supports much more, because children with autism learn more from videos and learning with their eyes instead of reading and following text. So it focuses more on visual aids. It changes all our activities to be visual, personalized support. It changes our assessment. There's different there's the assessment. Oh, does it even give you an assessment? No, it doesn't. So I will tell it now. Can you also give me an assessment or a piece of homework for my students? It gives you an assessment. If you want an assessment, obviously this is so all this process, it isn't set in stone. This is nothing that's been written in stone. And even to our luck here, it's actually produced a rubric for our assessment on a 4-point system, which is pretty cool. But yeah, as I was saying, nothing here is actually set in stone. The first prompt is where you want to give it a persona. You want to be as specific as possible. You want to make sure you give it its your learning objectives that you want to be that you want your lesson plan to be tailored around, and all your student needs that you need to be taken in consideration. Everything else after the first prompt is really tailoring it for your needs. So we'll look here, for example, I think this will be a completely different so we'll use this example.
You probably could have even brought it down to, can give me some ideas, on mnemonics, which I've done in the past.
On what? Sorry,
Mnemonic. So if they're visual learners, mnemonics.
Oh yeah.
They can come up with memory palaces and etc. etc. So there's a whole lot of stuff again where sometimes you just don't think of, and that's where it becomes super handy.
It is. I mean, yeah, GPT. Also, I would like to actually point out that this is the free version. This is actually the dumbest version you could be working with, as all the paid versions and all the other more advanced versions are much smarter than the GPT 3.5. I think 3.5 Turbo. No.
Guess what? Can you try Bard? So there's a number of AIs that you can use. There's Bard, which is Google. ChatGPT, OpenAI, Microsoft. You can also use Bing, which is using GPT-4. Perplexity is another one, and the kids seem to be.
I'd also like to point out that different AI bots have different, or what would the word be? It's not limitations, but yeah, it would actually be limitations. For example, with Bard, the free version, you can upload image, you can speak to it, whereas in GPT 3.5, it only allows. So, obviously GPT 4, I think you are allowed to. There's image input. You can speak to it. You can actually upload your PDFs, which means if you have a set of learning objectives or a curriculum that you want to follow, you can directly upload that curriculum to the AI bot and get the AI bot to start producing anything you want around tailoring it around the curriculum. So let's use one of our example prompts here. I want to use the rubric one.
I'll just interrupt while you're doing that. So what I noticed too is that you can take a URL, and which might be from a favorite website that you've got that you use as a resource for your students to go away and study. You can put that URL, cut and paste it into. I think it's Bard. And OpenAI, I think ChatGPT doesn't allow you to do that. Is that correct?
Yeah, ChatGPT doesn't, or the free version at least doesn't allow you to do that.
Yeah. So with a video too, if you've got a resource of video and you want to you want the AI to interpret it for you, take all the text and you do whatever you like with it. I know that Bard can do that, but ChatGPT won't. That's not to say it will come in the future. So it's just really getting an idea of these tools, what they do, what they're capable of, and seeing what their limitations are.
Sweet. Sorry, people had just walked in. All right, let's try this one. And in fact, Peter, would we like to try feeding Bard a link from the curriculum refresh?
You can try, but I don't think it'll do PDF actually. So that may have been the other way around. I think ChatGPT can do PDF. It can read it.
Not PDF. Link. Do you want to try? Should we try feeding in a link
Yeah.
to the refresh site? Up to you.
Yeah.
Right. So I know what this would produce on GPT 3.5. I've never actually tested it on Bard, but it's as good. It's like what we expected. So I've told it you are an expert teacher and curriculum writer, skilled in assessing students' work. Create a rubric for my Year 5 science class studying engineering. My students are doing a STEM experiment and the egg drop challenge, in which the specific materials to design and build a container to protect the egg from cracking as it is dropped from increasingly higher heights. Format the rubric as a chart and include a 5-point scale. So, as you see here, we're giving it a persona. We're telling it you're an expert teacher, curriculum writer, skilled in assessing student work. We're giving it the task, create a rubric for the students, and then we're also explaining what the students are doing, because obviously the AI can't create you a rubric if it doesn't know what your students are doing. Then it's going to
Sorry, I just interrupted. Stop doing it. But yes, you've got to give it context.
Yeah, and if the less context you give it, the worse the output would be, in my opinion. I think it's the more specific you are, the more informative you are to the AI bot, the more it can help you. So, as you see here, we explain what the challenge is and what the students are doing. And then we even tell it how to format the rubric to however you want to. This is where you tailor it for yourself. And here's the product. Even added a little joke. Wow, actually, that is GPT doesn't do that, so that's impressed me here. But yeah, you can. It also gives you bonus points. Yeah, this is again produced in one paragraph that I wrote and 3-4 minutes of my time, and it's given me an entire rubric and bullet points. It was the same thing for the lesson plans and differentiating the lesson plans. It's just all of this stuff we're able to produce it in 5-10 minutes maximum. And all you really need to be is just specific, informative, and the AI chatbot, it's like a little minion of yours that is just ready to do anything for you. It's incredible.
Can you can we try a quiz?
Yeah. Can do. Quiz with context. Okay. Would we like to try it on Bard or GPT? Doesn't really matter, but
Either or. You can try Perplexity, maybe.
like, all right.
Bing Chat, as I said
Yeah,
before.
I think Bing Chat would be better. I think Perplexity is a little lower in quality compared to the other ones.
Okay.
I think, but we'll give it a go. We'll see. We'll see what it says.
The thing to bear in mind with this, a lot of our children are using this. We actually found out through our students they were using this. You don't have to sign in. So a lot of these AIs, you need to, they're age restricted. ChatGPT is 13, I think it is. And some of the others, the AI, are, 18. But this
So-
one, you don't need to sign up.
As you see here, it isn't, I wouldn't say it's as nearly as good as the other ones. It said that it's produced a 20 question fill in the blank, but it didn't produce 20 questions. It's produced 5. So
Nice,
this
it's
is a classic example.
you know, yeah. That's good. I think good demonstrating the difference in
Yeah.
quality.
No, I was even going to say that this is an example that AI is also still not there in some places where you can have this type of reply. Where I've worked with GPT, even GPT, and once I'm not being specific enough or I'm confusing the AI, it would start telling me that it's producing, like, let's say 6 examples when it's producing 3, and then it's just contradicting itself.
Mm.
So when that happens, usually usually it's the instructions are unclear, but again, AI is not the smartest, so it can make mistakes.
Hallucinations is a term that you probably need to know. And what that means is that if the AI doesn't know the answer to something, it will most likely make it up. So that's a term that you probably need to know. What we do with our students is to understand that it does hallucinate, is that we try and get the students to trip it up. We know that it's not that great at math at the moment, but that is getting better. So we'll just get the students to give it a math formula. So 956 divided by 332 and see what comes back. And then the trick while we're on students is we want to ask it. If you're a student, you want to ask it what its thought process is to work that out. And that's where you can get more out of these AIs, is it will break their process down so that you can understand it, or the student can understand it.
Bruce, to answer your question on the chat, I think Bard did create the jokes in the header of the if you're talking about the excuse me and extraordinary and excellent, that is all Bard.
Yeah.
Here's my prompt. I just told it that it's an expert teacher and curriculum writer to write me a rubric and put it on a 5-point scale, explain what the project was, and it chose to add smart jokes, which yeah, I found pretty funny myself. I'm not gonna lie, it's holding my laugh. But here is
Are you able to?
so here's
Sorry, Kaswar. Are you able to ask
Yeah.
it to gamify a lesson plan?
gamify a lesson plan. All right. Okay, so to do that, I will have to actually get it to produce a lesson plan. So let's give it sorry. Yeah. Yeah. Let's go down to the real quick. Oh, by itself. Yeah, so I did it the hard way. If I wanted to get it to produce a lesson plan before gamifying it, I would have to copy the lesson plan it produces and then paste it back in and let it know to gamify.
Yeah.
So there's always an easy way and a hard way to do stuff around AI. It's all depending on, again, your prompts. So this should gamify a lesson plan instantly.
What you can do is go back to the prompt. We probably want to show that trick where there's a little
Oh. Yep.
a little pen which you can rewrite over the prompt or edit the prompt. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that'll just save the real estate. It'll just
Yeah.
give you a second version, which I find super useful.
Oh yeah. If you save and submit, it submits the prompt again, right? I think.
Yep.
Does it? I'm not quite sure. But here we go.
There you go.
Gamified learning, water cycle quests. Yeah, 6, 10 to 11. By the end of this gamified activity, students will be able to understand the different stages of the water cycle, recognize the key processes involved in the water cycle, apply their knowledge of the water cycle in real world scenarios. It lets you know what materials you need for this. Gives you a little introduction, a setup, game instructions, a debrief session, and it even suggests optional extensions and a conclusion. Also lets you know what your role is in this. Yeah, what your role is in this gamified lesson plan. What role you take on to help it continue and go on.
With the quizzes too, it's always ask it for the keys. Yeah, the answers. That's become super useful too. Case just asked this in the comments, can we get a copy of the prompt library for teachers? This has been created for you guys, so we'll definitely send this out to you. Has anybody got any questions so far?
Also, I also forgot to mention, actually bringing up the answer keys. Usually if you ask it to produce a quiz, most likely it would return a quiz, and not only a quiz, an answer key, which would give you all the list of answers for your questions that it's produced.
Yeah.
Kind of like a little simple rubric.
Yeah, and again, you can get it to do multi-choice, any sort of very good. Can you do me a favor now and just sort of go over to one of these image generation things, which ideogram. I was going to show you on mine, but might as well.
Yeah, I will.
Ideo. No V. So there are tons of these.
Ideo. Okay. Yep.
Tons of these things coming out. The trick is to get them free while they're free. Usually when you're developing software, they'll go through a beta stage, which is free, and then they'll put it out to market and they'll start charging. So it looks like this has been free for about a year, I think now. But up the top there, you've got model version 2 and subscription plans are available now. So they'll start adding the premium features.
Paid version.
So yeah, so type in anything you want. What's happening now is it's able to you know, pick up words or output words, which not a lot of these AIs could do 5 months ago.
I will let you know if I start cutting out or anything.
Yeah, that's right. While we're waiting for that, I think, again, you've got to be specific with your prompt, make it photorealistic or anime or what you can get super creative on these things. And if you click on one of those images down below, you can get ideas from the prompts. So yeah, go back. So it'll,
back.
Yeah. So any one of those images below, just click on those under trending. No,
These ones here?
Not yours.
No, these ones. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So that'll give you a prompt,
yeah.
which is really detailed. So you can get ideas of, you know, other people's prompts and how to use it. It's a good way of learning how to get the most out of it. If you new tab, just go leonardo.ai.
Yep. Okay. give me a second. Let me. No, I didn't.
Just another resource that I use. Again, so there's a free version, but it'll give you a limited amount of images or videos that you can create. So in the not too distant future, we're going to be able to create 4K movies. And at the moment, what you can do now is create like a 4-second clip. And I wouldn't worry about sort of logging in. I would just sort of.
Okay. Are we allowed to use it without logging in?
Yeah, you can. But what you can, so if you're getting 4 seconds of video, then what you can do is go over to Canva and use their video editing software to put together a longer movie.
Peter, it doesn't seem like you can use this without logging in.
Yeah, no, just scroll down a bit. We just really want to.
This is the only, as far as it goes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So that's a resource anyway. So there are a number of them. And again, this is another workshop on how to use these tools. So I think obviously AI is everywhere, and the conversation is everywhere. So what is, again, I think, and that's why it's super important for the adults, teachers, to get on top of this stuff so that we can steer our students in the right direction, and get them to use it properly with best practice rather than using it for cheating and not learning. Yeah, so I can't emphasize that anymore. It's been baked in. So just to give you an idea, there's obviously a battle up the top with Google, Apple. They're pretty quiet at the moment. Microsoft has teamed up with OpenAI, which is ChatGPT. So what these companies are doing now is they're baking AI into everything, every single one of their products. So your students are going to be, it's going to be accessible to your students. And it's going to be everywhere. So, and it's obviously a transformative technology. It's going to change the way we see things. It's going to change the way we work. So you're at a really good stage now where you're early adopters. So I think we might just sort of wind up. We'll send out that prompt library. Last call for questions. I thought we'd have more questions from you guys. There is, what I'm finding too is with the conversation I'm having with teachers is, it's not a dichotomy. It's more about, it's the elephant in the room, I think, is what's happening. Teachers aren't sure whether they should be using it or not. And I talked to a principal the other day, and that was, we don't want teachers to sit on their laurels and become less creative, and use it to do everything. So some of the teachers, to me, this is what I think is happening, is that you're seeing the AI and you're not too sure whether you want to use it because you might be seen as cheating, getting the AI to do the work for you, which I think is crazy. I'm using it every single day. So it's really all in the way that you use the tool, and that's all it is a tool to help you become more productive and accelerate and elevate yourself. So that, to me, I can spend more time in the classroom and I can become more creative. So that's the way I think you need to see it. Cool, right, last call for any
Can I just ask a question about why you think it's no good at mathematics? Because when I entered a question a year or so ago, I put in a senior maths question and it gave me a comprehensive answers with reasons for completing the problem the way it did. So, I mean, admittedly, I haven't done a lot of questions, but on the one or two that I inputted, it seemed to be pretty sophisticated and helpful for students completing, providing support for revision, for example?
Yeah. Again, I think it. I can't answer that question properly because I'm like you. I haven't used it enough. But what I do know is when I have tried, when some of the kids are trying to trip it up with a basic equation, it will get it wrong.
Okay.
But I think it is becoming really good with logic and reasoning and what they call Q-Star, which is the latest technology that ChatGPT are working on, that they're not really telling us a lot about, has that math component in it.
Okay.
So yeah, you'll get it. It will be right in a lot of cases, but again, I think that's it's really important that we keep our knowledge as teachers, and we've got that wisdom to be able to fact check, whereas the students will probably just take it as it is. Yeah.
Thank you.
So thanks so much. We can just save some time, Janet. Ideas here. Yes.
I think I wanted to say, with the higher level the math is, the more likely the AI would hallucinate, which is what I've realized. For example, if I try, especially with my math courses at university, when I try use AI to help me, if it's not for explaining concepts, it's amazing. It explains it to the most like minuscule detail. But when it comes to solving questions, it would just hallucinate, think it knows what's going on, and give me a wrong answer. So that's my experience with it.
Can you just before we go, can you just let us know whether you thought this was useful for you, and if you would like more. We're thinking about sort of doing a series of these things because it's obviously wide reaching. It's happening really, really quickly. We love sort of staying on top of it. We're also developing a product as well, which we are testing on our students, and that we will put it out to you guys. We want to know if anyone's interested in working with us on that product for no cost. We'll put it out to beta. But what we want is, and what we're finding with AI is it's very Americanized. So we want to bring it back home. Yeah. So let us know if you want us to keep going. We're going to do it anyway, I think, because I think it is super useful. But yeah, let us know if you'd like to work with us. If you want any more PLD, we are part of the MOE PLD provider panel, and so we'd love to come to your school and do more workshops with your teachers. So that's it, I think, and hopefully you guys got a lot out of it. So we'll send you those resources and hopefully see you on the next one. Good, great, getting some good comments. Thank you so much. Brilliant. All right, well, we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.
Goodbye.